Hello and welcome to Teleislas News, the most important news of the day. The Ministry of Health at national level has created 2 applications that seek to help to have clarity on information on how the process of a national vaccination plan is going. San Andres is in the pilot plan of one of these applications.
Hello, Lisa and Ali TV viewers. Well, yeah, from the beginning of the vaccination plan in the whole country, with start 22 days ago, the Ministry of Health announced also the launch of 2 digital pages where all the people in our country can put in the information in them and know specifically how this plan going. This is the page Mi Vacuna and paiweb 2.0. Specifically, this one was launched in just 9 places of our country, and San Andres is in one of them. The Ministry of Health gave a little report of how this page is going and why it's so important for us in our department and also in the country.
Effectively, to be able to carry out the vaccination plan, it was necessary to develop 2 technological platforms at national level by the Ministry of Health and with the support of the Digital Association. One is Mi Vacuna, in which Colombians can recognize in which stage of vaccination they are, and there is where we are uploading all the information on people who are entitled according to each phase to be vaccinated. But there is another application that is very important, which is the one where once the person arrives at the vaccination post, all the information will be recorded and at the national level will be collected to have all statistics and all the vaccination data of each person online.
The rest of the department, well, this page they work are Caquetá, Putumayo, Meta, Amazonas, Sucre, Córdoba, San Andres, Bogotá, and Cundinamarca. The Ministry of Health also want to invite all the people in from all the country to go and put in information in the paiweb so we can know how we going in this vaccination plan. This is all the information I report from here from the town of the island. Continue, Lisa, in a studio.
An alias Monito, one of the most wanted criminals in the department, was captured in the city of Cartagena, Bolívar. This criminal was thought of the crime of homicide.
Hello, Lisa. Good afternoon. Jose Manuel Barranco Jimenez, 23 years old, alias El Monito, were in the list of the most wanted for the year 2020 for 2 homicides. The colonel of the police department explained these 2 cases.
The first homicide is for Mr. Randy Pusey, native of the island of San Andres, who was killed on October 13 of 2017. This homicide occurred in the sector of Orange Hill. This captured citizen is also responsible for the homicide of Jeffrey Dominic Rios that occurred in 2019 in the sector of Natania.
According to the colonel of the police department, alias El Monito has already had a criminal record for carrying a firearm.
We are presenting the capture of a homicide in San Andres. The antecedents are evident. The capture that was reported yesterday was specifically for the death of Randy Pusey on October 13 of 2017.
And this is all the information for today. Lisa, continue in studio with more news.
Thank you, Silveta. And in order to promote local gastronomy to the world, several women dedicated to fair tables work for the creation of a society that helps to promote the archipelago as a gastronomic destination.
With the aim of boosting the economy of the Rizal Islands, a group of island women have joined together to form the Fair Table Association. One of its goals is to prevent the loss of the traditional typical food. The Secretariat of Tourism has been accompanying the creation of this new society.
We are following the development plan for a new trade. We decided to sit down and talk with them and see how we could guide them. And with the help of the Chamber of Commerce, which was an important ally for this process, we managed to formalize them. Because we all know the delicacies that these people sell, then the idea is that we can promote our ancestral gastronomy not only in the departmental order, but also that national and international tourists can taste these delicacies in a formal way, in a well-organized way. That is what we seek to promote from the governor's office.
In the afternoon, the leaders of this new association will continue with the process to legalize their activity and indicated that they will not give statements to the media until all these procedures are complete.
And since yesterday on the island, the subsidies of the Familias in accion are being paid, where the beneficiaries will be able to acquire them through authorized points designated by the state.
The coordinator of the Office of Familias in Acción provided information regarding the first payment of subsidies of this entity for this 2021. Beneficiaries will be able to claim their subsidies at the designated points of superheroes.
The payment begin yesterday, 10 March, until the 4th of April. The payments then going to be from 8 in the morning till 8 in the night, from Monday till Monday, every day. Naten en el Cañón de Morgan, front al edificio Leda, en las Américas, where the principal office. We got our next punto de pago, San Luis, and we got the next one new one against a Cámara de Comercio. Yesterday, the last number for your cédula was 0. That one we have to go yesterday, go look the incentivo. Today, 11 is the number 1. Tomorrow, 12 is the number 2. Remember the last number for each cédula.
The beneficiaries of the island of Old Providence will be able to claim their subsidies at the superheroes point of the municipality.
And by presidential order, and with the objective of exercising sovereignty over the archipelago, kfir superiority aircraft have been flying over the island since last week, performing different exercises such as touch and go from the runway and aerial refueling. These aircraft will continue to fly over the skies of the archipelago to establish dominion and sovereignty over the Colombian airspace, especially over the insular territory. And at this time, we continue with all sport news with Victor Fusalva.
Hello, here are the best sports of the islands. Skating teachers look for the best sports scenario to train their sportsmen for future national competitions. Keeping in mind the federative national tournaments of skating, Professor Alfredo Sandoval reaches an agreement with the sports secretary so that these training can be carried out at the Erwin O'Neill Football Stadium.
La idea es que los niños aprendan qué pruebas están haciendo.
The idea is that children can learn the tests they are doing, and also creating the need that it is the time that we are going to be in the venue where we should always be, in the soccer stadium, where you can do a synchronized workout with the bigger boys, mainly since we have the National Federation tournaments in our sites, and we came to a concession with the Secretary of Sports on very good terms. We are going to sit down with the Secretary so we can go back to train at the soccer stadium.
According to Professor Sandoval, the Secretary of Sport, Jason Newell, expressed his full support for skating.
Sí, él viene haciéndonos seguimiento.
He has been following us for a few weeks. He comes here to visit us. He constantly visits our group, and he also talks to the boys, and in that order, we also feel we have his support.
The idea of Professor Sandoval is to integrate the family.
Es la idea, integrar a la familia.
That is the idea, to integrate the family, that the father sees how his son is working. This is like an exam for me with them, how his son is progressing, what we have to strengthen, and what is the purpose of the tests. This is called a championship test, and they saw that. Thank goodness it was a total success.
Working with this group of kids from now on is important for Professor Sandoval so that these athletes can be ready for the upcoming national tournaments. With a look to the next national competitions, handball continues their preparation. Handball is relatively a new sport in the island department. In such a short time, it has demonstrated great results for the archipelago. After this recent participation in the Caribbean Cup of Barranquilla, Teacher Jaraba continues with his training, looking for a good representation in future tournaments at a national level. We spoke with Coach Liderson Jaraba, who told us.
Estuvimos en Barranquilla.
We were in Barranquilla in an invitational tournament that was the first Caribbean Cup of 2021, where we were able to obtain a positive result. The idea is to continue working for what is to come this year. Right now, on April 2nd through 4th, there is a handball beach qualifying tournament for the sea and beach game. Then the idea is to work with the two modalities, floor and beach, and in the month of June, coming the national tournaments of different categories, and for that reason, we are preparing. We must not stop working. We must continue to be in shape for the competition to come.
According to Professor Jaraba, improving the performance of his players is an important factor for a good representation in these national tournaments. And this is all in sports for the moment. I am Victor Fusalba, Teleislas News.
Thank you, Victor. At this time, we continue with the weather forecast. The weather forecast for today, 11th of March. In the coastal area of Archipelago, the sky is mainly sunny. Temperature is 29 degrees Celsius with winds from the northeast direction, with intensities of 26 km per hour. Humidity forecast is 67% and probability of precipitation is 5%.